All right, I think it's time to get started. Thank you all again, once again. I can never thank you enough for being here. My name is Miss Gudrun. Many of you know me as the head of secondary in Alphaville, the most recently authorized IB school in the St.Nicholas family for the diploma program. I have with me here Miss Tessa, who's a university counselor here in Alphaville, but also in Pinheiros.
Hello, good evening,
Mr.
everyone.
Alex.
Good evening, everybody.
They will introduce themselves a little bit more later because we will all be presenting in sections. I am speaking in English because I feel more comfortable speaking English, but we do understand Portuguese. So if you have any questions or would like clarification, then we can offer this in Portuguese as well if you feel that that is more convenient for you. But from here on out, we will be continuing in English. And so as you can see, this webinar is about what it means to offer a full IB continuum and why that is important. And it's not just about offering the IB continuum as such, it's about offering at St. Nicholas and what that means. And so I will go over here, if I can get the slides, there we go. Who we are, of course, we will present ourselves individually. I can talk a little bit about myself first. What does it mean to be part of an IB continuum? Then we will present the diploma program. Mr. Alex will take over and he will share more about what is so special about that here at St. Nicholas. Then we will hand over to Ms. Tessa, who will talk about IB education in Brazil, as well as university and career guidance. Then we're very, very lucky and blessed to have a father with us, a veteran IB father, who will be sharing his experience of raising a child in an IB World School. And he will introduce himself a little bit later. And then we have some resources, some links for people to dive into once we share the slides, as well as some events coming up in the next academic term at St. Nicholas Alphaville. If you're more curious about events in Pinheiros, then we are happy to share those as well upon request. Then, of course, we have time for Q&A at the end. But if you want to ask questions throughout so that you don't lose the thought as it comes to you, please enter it in the chat and we will address them at the end, because we are hoping to be able to answer in this webinar. So who are we? Again, each person themselves. I'm the head of secondary. I am also the MYP coordinator, which means that I am in charge of one of the 3 IB programs that we offer at St. Nicholas Alphaville. I am a DP examiner, so I work for a language A and B, and I'm a school evaluator as well. So my life is the IB and nothing but the IB. And so that's why it's such a wonderful thing, point of pride for me and for my team, for everybody who is here tonight, to be able to say that we belong to the Continuum family now. Because I know very well, both from this experience as well as my experience with the IB, how much work it is to get to where we are today. So we're lucky and proud to share that with you. So moving on. So the IB continuum, you can see here, this is not the Olympics, not yet, but the circles each represents one of the IB programs. So on the far left, at least the way that I'm looking, the yellow circle represents the primary years program. The red circle represents the middle years program, and the blue circle is the diploma program. And then the purple circle is a smaller program that is offered, it can be offered instead of the diploma program, called the careers program, which is slightly more vocational. But there are no schools currently in Brazil that offer the careers program. But in the middle, we have everything that lies at the core of each of these programs. That we have global contexts, the IB learner profile, inquiry, action, and reflection, multicultural and intercultural understanding and engagement, and then, of course, a connected curriculum. We will go into a little bit more detail as to what that means in the next few slides. So I will give you a brief overview of what this looks like. So we have the 3 programs, primary years, middle years, and diploma program at St. Nicholas. In Alphaville, we offer these 3, and Pinheiros is a candidate school for the middle years program. So they are on their way to becoming a continuum school as well. And so the primary years program is from the early years up to grade 5. The MYP is for grade 6 to 10, and the diploma program is for grades 11 and 12. Now, this is somewhat different from the way that the secondary education system works in Brazil. So we have a helpful diagram that will hopefully help us shed a light on how this works. Because in Brazil, as we know, Ensino Médio starts in grade 10, which is when our students are ending their middle years program with the personal project. And then the last 2 years of their secondary education is what you would call Ensino Médio, I suppose. It would be the equivalent. And so we call it, the MYP and the DP are grouped under what we call secondary school, because these are not separate at our school. We don't have one school for Fundamental 2, so the equivalent thereof, and another for the diploma program. So this is what it looks like for us. As I can see, I know that there are a few parents here in the audience. We are opening up for the grade 11 class next year. So we're not quite there yet with grade 12, but we will get there. And that's when we will offer the full IB continuum as well, of course. Now, briefly about the primary years program. This is maybe not that unfamiliar to many of our families, but just to shed a light on the similarities, that there are 6 transdisciplinary themes. They're here in one of the outer circles, delivered across 6 subject areas. And the approaches to learning and the learner profile are at the center of what the students do there. But of course, as with the other programs, it is all centered around inquiry, action, and reflection, as demonstrated in the PYP exhibition that students carry out in grade 5. Our students in both Alphaville and Pinheiros have been working on their exhibition. I believe that Pinheiros presented last week, and our students are presenting this week. They're beautiful projects that really summarize all the learning, the research, the inquiry, the passion, and the desire to do better, to contribute to the world, is all present in the students' projects. We have students doing projects about space junk, about ocean pollution, about changing habits, how to live a healthier life. And so these are all things that the students are interested in and see as something they would like to take action on. So that's the beauty of the primary years program, which then leads beautifully into the middle years program, which is where we have 2 more subject groups. And so we add service as well, because service as action, or community service, as we call it in Alphaville, is added as a subject in the timetable. And then we have what is called personal, social, and health education. These are the additional subjects that we offer. But while we offer 8 subject groups, we offer a total of 13 subjects. Because within language acquisition, we have 2 subjects. And within the arts, we have 3. And so we offer this broad range that then is narrowed down into electives in grades 9 and 10, that then can lead to the optional e-assessments and e-portfolios. And our students in grade 10 sat their first e-assessments this May. And it's an interesting point to note that we are one of 2 schools in Brazil that offer the e-assessments. Both of them are based in Sao Paulo. And then, of course, there is the personal project completed at the end of grade 10. They start working on it in grade 9 and then continue all the way until grade 10. So it's about 8 or 9 months of steady work, forward planning, organization, self-management skills that then culminates in a beautiful product that the students deliver, as well as a detailed reflection. And this really helps them dive deep into who they are as learners, which is perfect preparation for, of course, no less, the diploma program. And so the diploma program is something that I am not the expert on, so I'm going to hand over to Mr. Alex, because I have spoken enough about...
She is.
I know. So, Alex, if you would like to... Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough. So it's perfect timing for me to hand over to Mr. Alex to talk about the diploma program. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mr. Alex, and I'm the Diploma Program Coordinator here at St. Nicholas Alphaville. We were just recently authorized, and we are very proud and very happy to share this accomplishment with you. The diploma program, as Ms. Goodwin explained, is a program that students carry out during 11th and 12th grade. It's a rigorous international curriculum that focuses on preparing students not only academically for university, but also socially, emotionally, and also helps in the development of their physical well-being. It's a program that really tries to develop or focuses in developing students that are going to contribute to improve society. They're going to make a difference in the world. Why is the diploma program important? Research has shown that students who go through an IB education, not only the diploma program, but through the whole process now that we're continuing school, develop higher critical thinking skills. Students that go through the whole diploma program also develop better university level research skills and are better equipped with facing the challenges that the university has and life after high school as well. We also see that there are specific components, and research has shown that through CAST and through TOK and the extended essay, it also allows students to be more aware of their social responsibilities within a community or within a global society. And it also helps develop and understand different perspectives, their own perspective, and develop different perspectives regarding different cultures. So that's just a little bit to tell you a little about specifically about what the diploma program is and where it works towards developing students worldwide. Can we go to the next slide, please?
Sure. Let me just see here. There we go.
So part of the diploma program is the core. The core is components are composed of theory of knowledge that basically explains how or explores how we know what we know, right? It's about really helping students question different perspectives, question the complexity of knowledge and recognizing how knowledge is different within their own culture and across different cultures worldwide. There's a video there that Ms. Goodman will share with you later in the slides that you can see an example of TOK exhibition, theory of knowledge, and it is assessed through an exhibition and a 1,600 word essay. The extended essay focuses on helping or supporting students to acquire research skills that they will see within the university. So it improves on academic writing and research skills. The extended essay is a 4,000 word research paper where students focus on doing this research on one of the 6 subjects that they choose. So it's very connected to their interests as well. And creativity, activity, and service. It's what enables students to continue to enhance their personal and interpersonal development through different activities that are carried out throughout the 18 months. So these are mandatory components for the full diploma program. And now I'd like to tell you a little bit about the different courses that we offer within the 6 groups. So here at St. Nicholas Alphaville, we offer 10 subjects at high level, which are 240 hours for each subject that is taught at higher level, and 150 hours minimum for standard level. At St. Nicholas, we go beyond the minimum requirement of hours for our high-level courses and standard level courses. In Group 1, Language and Literature, we offer Portuguese at a high level and standard level, English at a standard level. In Group 2, Language Acquisition, we offer English high level and standard level, and Portuguese ab initio. In Group 3, which is Individuals and Society, as you can see, we offer History at a high level and standard level, Business Management at high level and standard level, Brazilian Social Studies at a standard level, and Environmental Systems and Societies at standard level. In Group 4, Sciences, we offer Physics at high level and standard level, Biology and high level and standard level, Design Technology in high level and standard level, Chemistry in high level and standard level, and Environmental Systems and Society, which is part of a Group 3 or Group 4 subjects at standard level. Group 5, Mathematics, we have Analysis and Approaches at standard level, Application Interpretation at high level and standard level, and Visual Arts at high level and standard level. Students choose 3 subjects at high level and 3 subjects at standard level. This is guided with a strong support system that we have in place at the school, which is composed of the diploma program coordinator, myself, the secondary head, the university counselor, Ms. Tessa, is with us, high school guidance counselor, and well-being lead as well. So we have a very strong team to help students select specifically and guarantee or ensure that regardless of the path or where they're going to study, let it be in Brazil or abroad, they will be successful. We start this process, Ms. Goodwin, as we had mentioned early on in the middle years program, and we continue to strengthen it every year. I believe from 8th grade, Ms. Goodwin, if I'm right, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. We involve parents in the process for them to give input. So we receive parents' input, students' input, teachers, the whole staff also gives their input regarding the strengths and areas of improvements for the students. So we tailor every single pathway for each student to make sure that it is supported. The University Council does a big job that I'm gonna let her speak about that in regards to research and requirements for different universities, basically around the world, depending on what the student wants. That's basically what I have there. If there are any questions or any doubts, or at the end, Ms. Goodwin, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we'll carry on, because I think that what I'm hoping, again, like I said, we might be able to answer some of these questions later on, but the IB is currently offered, as will be mentioned later on, is offered by 62 schools in Brazil, and it's growing. There are more and more schools around Brazil, not just in the greater Sao Paulo region, offering the IB. So what makes us special? Why are we talking now? Who gave us the microphone? What is it that we value about the IB? And so, of course, we see it as a gateway to the world. It is one of the many reasons why it's such a sought-after program. But also, we align it with who we are as a school and what our vision and values are. And so we want to make sure that we give students voice, they have choice, and they have agency and ownership over what they choose. That's why we give them a lot of choice for the subjects. It's for a small school with 22 students starting in the first cohort. We've received praise and maybe some surprise as to why we're offering so many choices right from the beginning. But we didn't want to deprive the first cohorts of the opportunity to have the choice that we will be able to offer to a bigger cohort, because that is at the heart of what we do. We want students to have that choice. Therefore, we offer the electives in grade 9 and 10, and we try to give students as much voice and ownership as possible in our teaching and our learning. And that comes into the variety of subject choices. But then it's also the fact that we have a very international community, not just through international teachers, we also have international students, but we're connected globally through the programs that we offer. Our students connect to the world through MUN, through the honors English program that we will be launching next year, through the study opportunities where they can join students from all over the world in summer programs, in university preparation programs, in everything that we do. We aim to open doors for students, not just once the school doors close for the holidays, but also in school. Let's hear from others. Let's hear from people all around the world. Our amazing teachers who come from, I think, every single continent on the planet, bar Antarctica, but we're working on that. This is something that we see as paramount in ensuring that the students get this international perspective and international mindedness. We also offer...
I think it's a good point there, because you're talking about what sets us apart, and I think how from the other two programs and continuing towards the diploma program, we're very strong in working in regards to international mindedness and different global perspectives, and this is what will also allow students to be successful down the road. So it's also how we work. We also work through making sure we find that healthy balance for them and giving them agency, always giving them guidance and support in making the right decision. So it's really a team effort, and we have in place the necessary support systems to guide students and to make sure that they have the best options possible, and they can succeed in whatever that pathway is, right?
Exactly, because it's a lot of choice. It's a lot of responsibility placed on the shoulders of young students who are not yet adults. But we want them to be empowered to make that choice, as Alex said. And so that's why we have Tessa working so closely with all of us. She will share a lot more about what she does, because as Alex said, we start in grade 8, but in reality, Tessa's work starts much, much earlier. And so she will talk about that a little bit later. But I would like to go to the service learning opportunities now, because that's vital in CAS. Service is one of the core components of the CAS program, that is a mandatory core component of the diploma program, but it's also at the heart of the PYP and the MYP. And so we have done something bold and included service learning as a timetabled lesson where students build meaningful partnerships with the wider community. They engage with the community by doing research, contacting NGOs, learning more about the work that they do, and taking meaningful action that goes beyond raising funds. It's also about understanding and learning and seeing the world in a different way. And so we really want our students to have this connection with the world outside of school. And we now have several long-standing partnerships with different NGOs that support different causes around Brazil. And we look forward to connecting globally in future opportunities as well. And when I say reflective education, one of the IB learner profiles is to be reflective, but a reflective education means that we stop and think about what we're doing. We carry out reflections at the end of each unit. We have students reflect when they make choices that are less than positive, let's say. We want them to own the choices that they make. So when they do make their choices, for example, for electives, we want them to own that. And so when Mr. Alex, for example, was helping students make their choices for the IB diploma program, he had them write extensive essays about what guides their choices. So this choice isn't made randomly. This choice isn't made in order to maximize, let's say, money-making ventures, but it is also for them to go into this process with self-knowledge and self-awareness and ambition. And so reading these texts was absolutely amazing to see how much students felt in control of their choices.
Can I add something there? I think it's very important what you said, because reflection was also very much part of this process of course selection. And students were required to write a text where they reflected why they chose these specific courses and what coping strategies they would need to develop to face the challenges that were going to come ahead. And we've been working specifically this year a lot with the 10th graders for them to understand the challenges that they will be facing now in the diploma program. So that was a really important process to read and have them reflect and analyze, okay, this is what I need to do. Finding that healthy balance between their academic responsibilities and well-being as well.
Perfect, thank you. And then briefly, I promise I'm almost done talking because I know that Tessa's chomping at the bit. We would like to also talk about why this is important. What is the connection between Brazil and the IB? So you can see here, this is from the Estadão newspaper, published on May 14th, my birthday, so perfect timing. And it says here that it's the 8th country in the world that is 8th most rapidly growing IB world school country, let's say. And one part of this bigger scheme is to get public schools involved. I'm not sure where that project is at in Brazil, but at least it's clear here that we're part of this growing wave of IB schools in Brazil. So I don't think that's something that we should embrace, that we should be very happy about, because that means more opportunities for networking, more opportunities to share good practice, and more opportunities for our students to see how the IB is done differently across the world. Because of course there's a core philosophy, but every school has its own flair. And so the more we learn, the more we can add to our practice and do things even better. And so the second source talks about the alignment between the Novo Ensino Médio and the IB. And so there is a lot of alignment between the new courses that are offered as part of the Novo Ensino Médio and the IB, but the key difference lies in the way in which students learn in the IB. As you can see here, it's the active participation of the student, it's the voice, it's their role in the learning process. But in many other ways, comparing the BNCC, which is skills-based to a large extent, that has very close alignment with the IB. And this is something that we are looking at, not just in a Portuguese program, but in general, as we ensure that our students are prepared for life beyond secondary school in Brazil, which means having the preparation required for universities in Brazil that is similar to what students bring from the Novo Ensino Médio in their respective high schools. But Ms. Tessa will talk more about all of this, but the sources are here if you're interested in reading more. And then, of course, we have more sources at the end of this presentation. But now I'm going to hand over to Ms. Tessa, who's going to introduce herself and talk more about this beautiful list of schools. What are we doing with this? So Tessa, it's all yours.
Hello, thank you so much, Ms. Gudrun. Good evening, everyone. Lovely to see so many people online. This is really exciting. My name is Tessa Miglio. I'm the University Advisor on the Alphaville campus. I do work mainly with grade 9, 10, 11, and 12. And once we have our grade 11 starting this August, I'll be focusing more with them and then helping them throughout grade 12 as well. But I do already start to interact with the younger ones. So starting with grade 6 already. And I'll explain that a little bit later on, how I work with the students. But I wanted to show you how the list is growing rapidly with universities in Brazil accepting the IB. So you can take a couple of seconds here to scroll through the list. But as you can see, it's quite impressive. And it's continuing to grow, as Ms. Gudrun said, because everyone sees how amazing this curriculum is. It is considered one of the most rigorous curriculums in the world. So students from
Tessa, can I ask you a question? Sorry.
Yes.
So what does it mean for a university to accept the IB? Does that mean that students who graduate from St. Nicholas can't go to USP?
No, they can. They can.
Okay.
You can enter in with either you can take the vestibular for each particular specific university, or you can enter in with your IB if they accept it. And sometimes you can even enter in with the SATs with some of the Brazilian universities. So if later on any of you have any specific questions regarding specific universities and their requirements, please feel free to send me a message and I'm happy to send you more detailed information regarding the courses that you're interested in and what the requirements are for that particular university, because they are all a little bit different. But so again, students can enter in with the IB for all of these universities, and I'm sure this list will continue to grow. Or they can choose to take the vestibular if they want, but all of our students obviously would prefer to enter in with the IB. And yeah, do you want to go on to the next slide? Okay. So I wanted to also show you how universities view the IB diploma, sorry. So they know immediately when they receive an application that's showing that a student is applying with the IB diploma, they already think, wow, okay, academic rigor. So they know that this is one of the most rigorous curriculums out there, okay? So it's a challenging curriculum. So they know that the student has really been challenged. They realize, okay, critical thinking skills that have been developed throughout the 2-year program. So they are aware of the independent research skills and critical thinking skills that have been developed throughout the 2 years, primarily throughout the extended essay. Okay, it's also holistic education. Okay, so the DP promotes a balanced education, creativity, activity, and service, which we refer to as CAS. Unis like that, universities like that, especially in the US. Because they have a very holistic review when they look at applications. So they're very aware of this holistic overview of the application, okay? Global perspective that's been developed. So they are aware of the students' international mindedness, okay, which is sought after. And also the global, the college credit. So when you apply to many different US universities, many of them offer credits for high IB scores. So it's allowing the student to advance quicker in their university studies. And then university ready. The university knows that this student has developed very strong organizational skills, time management skills, and academic writing abilities. Okay, move on to the next slide. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what I do with the students in each year. So I provide a personalized supporting guidance to students grade 9 to grade 12, while also, as I said, interacting with the slightly lower years, so grade 6, 7, and 8. So in grade 6, I usually schedule 1 or 2 mandatory summer program meetings or presentations on our campus, so in person, just to already kind of open up this world to the students in grade 6. So they start to think about, wow, okay, what am I interested in? Maybe I would like to step out of my comfort zone and challenge myself and leave home and study in a different country. Or there are even some that happen in Brazil that they can consider too. Or it could even be online, but I want to already get this thinking process started. Then in grade 7, we look at the more summer preparation ECA. So they could consider perhaps sports-based or academic-based with social programs. It doesn't need to be so academic heavy at this point. And then in grade 7, it can be slightly more academic with perhaps some sports or social activities in the afternoon. But again, if we already start thinking about this in grade 6, each year will get a little bit easier and they'll start to kind of figure out more about what they like or what they don't like, which is just as beneficial. Then in grade 9, we really then want to focus more on grades, because for universities in Canada, in the US, in Europe, excuse me, grades start to, well, they really matter from grade 9 onwards, okay? So because I'm responsible for sending the school transcript to these universities. So they already look at your grades in grade 9, okay? So it's really important that the student has excellent grades in grade 9 upwards. They're focused in ECAs and they're very engaged, not only inside, but also outside the classroom. So this is something that I already start to talk about in grade 8. So then they're ready come grade 9. So then moving on to grade 10, excuse me, we look more at subjects and careers. So we set up individual meetings with students to talk about what they're interested in. They sit their first SAT practice test. Excuse me. So they understand that how the SAT test works, the layout, it's online, but I already want to provide a practice test on campus. So if they decide to apply for the US, or some other universities that require the SAT, they understand what it means, and what the layout is, and also their score. We also organize a Morris-B profile test, which helps the student learn more about their weaknesses and strengths. It also gives career suggestions and IB subject suggestions as well. We introduce them to the university platform, so the platform that they'll be using all the time moving forwards now, that they can search universities by subject, subject or country. And that's the platform that I will send all the documentation through, such as high school transcripts, letters of recommendation, and their essays. In grade 10, we also look at, excuse me, my voice is going. We also look at they already start to choose their IB subjects. So that's when they choose their IB subjects. So as Mr. Alex already said, and Ms. Gudrun, all three of us sit down and discuss the best options along with the student and their families to find the best pathway for each individual student. And we also talk about possible careers that they might be interested in. And towards the end of grade 10, which is 2 trips I just did with grade 10, we then start to visit universities within Brazil. So we visited FGV, we visited INSPER, we visited ESPM, and we visited yesterday Einstein. So in all of these universities, we had not only campus tour, but we had a good hour or an hour and a half of presentations from professors and admin staff talking about all the different courses and everything the university has to offer and what the requirements are.
Can I compliment 2 things?
Yeah, please.
We have numerous meetings with parents throughout the year where we explain the whole process and give specific information about the core components and the different courses that we offer. We also meet with parents in group, but we also have meetings with parents individually. Students have the process where they give their input. They do the process where they give their input of specific subject course selections, but we also receive input from parents. So I think that's important. We really try to get input from as many people as possible and Before that, we have numerous meetings where we inform parents of the process and how that is carried out. This specifically takes place in 10th grade. So if there are parents here, for example, that might not be aware of how this is carried out, there will be meetings in 10th grade that are already scheduled within our calendar and that we will be carrying out.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Alex, for that. And then moving forwards in grade 11, it will be the time that the students are expected to research and continue to visit universities. So I always say, listen, if you're going on vacation to certain countries that you're considering to study at, take advantage of it and schedule some visits around some of the universities there, because you're already going there with your family for vacation. So try and include a couple of campus tours. You can already start in grade 10. And then grade 11, it would be obviously more important to take care of this. Because each campus is another reason why I wanted to show them 4 very different campuses, not only because they offer different different courses, different bachelor programs, but they're all very different. They have different energy, different vibes, different layouts. So it's important that the student already starts to think in grade 10, what type of campus do I want to be on? A large one, a small one, in the city, outside the city? Learn more about where they'd feel more comfortable, because that's obviously going to be a massive step for a student to take, or a child to take this step onto university. So it's important that we find the right fit. So they'll start to shortlist universities, and they can do this already on the university platform. They just click to add these universities onto a list, which provides all the very detailed information about the university, the tuition costs, the courses, the campus size, etc. And then I will be continuing to explain more about the application requirements for each country, because they're all different. As Mr. Alex says, we continue to have individual meetings with parents and students to make sure we're all on the same page and everyone's doing what they're meant to be doing. Also, I have several sessions with them. It will be a weekly session, how to write motivational letters, common app essay, resume, how to request for letters of recommendation from their teachers, and activity lists, which will be important for those applying through Common App to the US. And then, of course, if any students are interested in moving forwards with the SAT, then I will send them all the necessary information to sign up for preparation courses. And then in grade 12, he'll be applying to universities and focusing on the IB. Okay.
So you
I
can
know
see
I'm talking about, but can I just say one thing, just really quickly? The work that Tessa does as university counselor towards really organizing, supporting the path for each student based on their interests, based on their strength, and also based on areas where they need to improve is amazing. It's really amazing. It's commendable. And I think that is something that really sets us apart, Ms. Goodwin, how we take into account each specific student, how as a school, we believe that there's not only one pathway for success, but different pathways. And in the meetings these individual meetings we've had with parents and students, we've had to really organize this, say, okay, this is what you want to study. This is your strength. This is where you need to improve. We can do it through this way. These are the different paths. These are the different, suggestions that we're making. So each student is taking into account individually, with strengths, with areas of improvements, with what parents want, with all the input, with all the information that we have from the middle years program. So I just think that work and how it's carried out is something that really sets it apart. And Tessa, amazing. Thank you.
Oh, that's so kind. Thank you so much. But I do try and make myself, I do try and get to know as many of the students as possible. Hopefully I know all of them by now. And I always want to tell them, if there's something you're interested in or something you want to learn a little bit more about, or, please don't be shy, come and see me. I try and visit as many of the different events. I try and participate in all the different things going on throughout the school. So I get to know the students better and get to know kind of what they like, what they're interested in, and to help them find their path in, here within the school and then also afterwards.
Thank you, Tessa. There's a question in the chat that I might hand over to you, But
Yes.
before that, I just want to say that this is, obviously, we have a smallish cohort now, but as they grow, we seek to maintain this close contact with the students, to never lose our essence, because our values, of course, our mission is a unique learning adventure. And that does mean putting in the work and the effort to ensure that each child feels seen, and feels like they're in charge of their adventure, with our guidance, of course. But Ms. Tessa, there was a question here about the SATs.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I can see
Could
it here.
provide some information about that. Do you want me to go to the next slide with the universities, or should I stay on this one?
Oh, no, you can go on to the next one.
Sure.
But I'll just quickly answer this. First off, thank you so much for your question regarding the SATs. So it used to be mandatory, so everyone had to take it, and then it became test optional. So some universities are requesting it, some are not. Some you can send it. So it really depends on the university, and they keep changing. So there are Florida, most of the universities require it, and there are some in the Northeast and other areas of the US that are starting to request it again, because they feel like it was an easier way to test the students' ability. So we might start to see that the SAT is starting to come back as a mandatory requirement. But again, when your child is at the stage of taking the SAT, in grade 11 or grade 10 already, I would already start to talk about it. And then in grade 11, at the beginning of grade 11, we'll be meeting with families again and sitting down and saying, which countries are you really interested in? This is what you've said so far. These are the universities you've maybe mentioned. Then we might consider that your child takes the SAT. It really depends on the student as well.
Thank you, Tessa. So what might be true today will not be true in 2026, for example.
Yes. Absolutely.
Would you like to share with us why do we have all these universities here on this slide?
Yes.
What's the mystery?
Yeah, so I wanted to let you know, to show you some of the universities that have been on our campus this academic year, to show you that it really is such a fantastic variety of universities from literally all over the world, as you can see. So Australia, the US, UK, Spain, Abu Dhabi, Brazil, Canada, Italy. Yeah, I think that's a lot, but it's pretty much it. And then on top of this, I mean, they just keep contacting St. Nicholas. They love the students. University reps love the students. We have excellent relationships with the university representatives. And the students got really excited, actually. So I made it mandatory for all of grade 10 because I wanted them to see many, many, many different types of options with regards to countries, but also courses, because I felt that they weren't really perhaps, they're like, oh, maybe it's just this. And I was like, well, I'm going to make it mandatory for everyone, because you might see something that you hadn't thought about before. So for grade 10, these presentations, were mandatory. And then in grade 11, I will make it optional, because then they have a better idea of what they want to do and where they want to go. And then they can opt for attending the presentation. And it didn't interfere with class time. Okay, so it was just during the morning break, but it's a wonderful 30 minutes where the students get to interact with the admission representative of the university, ask lots of questions, receive more promotional materials, and then they can also exchange contact information.
And I think the practice that they get, it's almost like a muscle. And so the students learn through these visits what questions to ask, not just general questions, but how will this university align with my career goals? And so that we don't expect them to know this in grade 11. That's why this is like a warm-up to make this mandatory. It's almost like going to football training or something, to do the drills so that then you can play the game in grade 11. And so it was fantastic to have all of these schools. What we're also lucky to have is the different campuses. So to have NYU in Abu Dhabi, I will never tire of telling the kids that I studied at the University of Nottingham, but in Malaysia. So I had better weather, very nice food, access to beaches, but also a high quality world-class UK education in one of the best universities in the world. So to have these universities coming to us on our little beautiful school on the hill to present this tapestry of options, we're really lucky. Because then, Tessa, you are planning something for September. Is that correct?
Yes, I am. I hope you're all very excited about this. So we're going to have our first university fair on September 5th. And we'll have about 20 different universities from, again, all over the world. So we're really excited about that. And of course, you're all invited, obviously. And we'll send out a formal invitation to you all closer to the time. But it will be, you can already mark it in your calendar, September 5th, 2:30 to 4:30. Sorry, yeah.
Sorry. No, I was going to ask if this complements the university fair that usually takes place in Pinheiros, because they always have a fair around the same time.
Yes. So their fair will be on September 2nd. So we're doing it quite close together, so it's easier for the representatives. Because most of the representatives will stay in Brazil 1 to 2 weeks, and so we're trying to make it as easy for them as possible. But one thing just about what Miss Gudrun had mentioned, the very first presentation that grade 10 attended, when the university representative said, "Oh, do I have any questions?" there was just complete silence in the room, because the students just didn't know what to ask. They didn't know how it all works. And after the third or fourth presentation, all the hands started going up, because they understand, okay, so this is what I need to get if I want to go to this university, or I know that I have to ask about this type of question if I'm interested in this course, or I need to know that if I need to take a higher level or a standard level for a certain subject. So they started to understand the requirements and how it all worked, and if they need to submit an essay, a motivational letter, etc. So it was really great. And now the hands just fly up really fast, and the students feel, I believe, much more comfortable with entering into grade 11.
Great, thank you. And so we look forward to, I know that there are parents here from the slightly younger years, so there's a lot coming. Mark your calendars, because of course, all of this is open to parents in younger years. Especially the university fairs, both Pinheiros and Alphaville are open to all parents. And we take the students there. We usually take them to Pinheiros as well, because that's slightly bigger. Yes. But we want to give the students as many opportunities as possible to figure out what they want. So we look forward to supporting our current grade 10s, but obviously everybody else, all of our upcoming seniors on their journey as they enter the last years of the secondary education. Now, I'm going to hand over. We're very lucky to have here an IB father. I try to capture in these pictures like the stages of an IB education. But we have here a man who can speak about that with some experience and knowledge, more than I have at least, what it means to raise a child in an IB school. So I will let him introduce himself. Nuno, if you're here, we're more than happy to hear from you.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's actually more than one child. I actually had four children going through the IB program. So 2 of them are already gone, and the last 2 will probably finish next year. So one of the, I think I want to start off before giving some color to some of these questions with a testimony for all the fathers here. So all of you guys, the professors just explained in well, probably not in a lot of detail, but with enough detail for you guys to understand what is the IB program. But I want to make it simple, which is, it's very true. So like I said, we've arrived in Brazil in 2008. Since the beginning, we had an idea to put our children through the IB program, even because my wife had went through the IB program. Unfortunately, she wouldn't like me to say this, but more than 30 years ago. But nonetheless, that was our intent. It was very easy for us to choose the school. And I want to touch on 2 other items beyond everything that you guys said about the program itself. So I think my children, all of them, were always very happy. You have to keep in mind that 3 of them went to the school at nursery. So my girls have been there since they were 2. They will finish the IB program next year. So it's going to be the full 14 years of their life in that school. And they were always happy. They were always open-minded, and they were always very curious. And for us as parents, that's beyond everything that you guys just said. It's very relevant and very important. I think I just highlight a little bit of what I feel it's a bit of a difference between the IB program and everything else that we see. When we came to think about since the day one when we came to Brazil on what did we expect of the IB education. I think I would summarize that in two senses. One, it would be the preparation to go anywhere in the world, since we had already lived in Mexico and our idea was potentially to move around, which we didn't at the end of the day, and we stayed in Brazil. But that they would be, you know, very, very flexible and open-minded to move around, which is the case for my two oldest sons, and I'll talk about it in a little bit. And also that they were prepared, or more prepared, at least in our view, for the, you know, the university and then working environment where we live. If I recall, you know, I'm 52. When I look back at my school years, we were educated to memorize and just, you know, I feel that I only did a presentation when I actually went to work. Now here, kids are exposed and provoked and incentivized to actually go through processes that relate a lot more to what you're going to experience at university or even in your working life, which is, we always found that to be very, very helpful. And to give you a bit of a summary, so I have 4 kids, like I said. My oldest son finished his mechanical engineering course in the University of Glasgow last year, and he's now finishing his master's at UCL in London. So we're very proud and very happy. My second child is actually going through his second year at the University of Twente in the Netherlands, and he's doing civil engineering. And my 2 girls, which are actually finishing year 11 this year, they already feel that they are going to go to Holland, to the Netherlands, potentially to study. One of them is going to study engineering, the other one architecture, and they're probably going to go to the University of Delft. And we've never imposed anything on their choices, which was very interesting because and I think it goes to what you guys said, you know, they felt very compelled to do their own research. Of course, my wife helped a lot, but they felt, you know, their own interest to research the universities, this support that the school provides in terms of, you know, understanding what are from the simple things on how do you apply to the actual fit or more potential fit of your own profile to a specific university is very, very, very helpful. And I think one of there's one question there in the bottom, so I don't extend myself too much, is I think the proudest moment, we can say a lot, but it's when I look now, I think we've raised 4, well, my girls are not adults officially yet, but pretty much getting there, 4 children into adulthood with the help and the support of a school, making them very prepared for the rest of their lives. And I see that in my oldest son that already graduated, the other one that's ongoing in his graduation process at university, and my 2 girls. So I think that's probably the best summary I can give you. And again, I don't want to extend too much. I think I probably if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer or even afterwards. But that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I don't know if this helped. I hope it did. But like I said, I had children in the school since 2 years old until they actually graduated and they already finished in the university.
And I'm sure that I can name about 5 people in Alphaville who taught your children at some point.
But
so
yeah,
it's really
most certainly.
And I almost want to say, please don't continue, because I'm about to cry, because that's really heartwarming to hear that 4 children are going through or have gone through the IB education at St. Nicholas. That's you really deserve a badge of honor for having done that, because the children rely on us, the adults, to help them. We want them to have the ownership, but they need that support from home. And I can hear from you that they definitely got that. Every single one of your children got that from you.
And they did the entire program. So well, like I said, my girls from nursery and they will finish next year, but all of the 2 boys actually went from from primary school until the end of the IB diploma.
That's amazing. So please, if there are any parents here who would like to get advice from a fellow parent, now is your chance, because we truly have an expert here. But thank you so much for this input. Again, if there are any questions, please fire away in the chat. But this is really wonderful to hear, and I hope that now, as Alphaville is growing, we will have a parent like you who will come back and tell us stories of,
I hope so.
Their children's successes, because that sounds phenomenal. Really, thank you.
Very good.
UCL is,
I
I
hope
could
so.
see Tessa, her eyes just popping, because that's a really fantastic university. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So here are some of the links just to end here. Of course, we will share the slides. I'm not going to open these, but these are some sources in English and Portuguese about education, what the IB looks like, because as we know, there are 62 schools in Brazil that offer the IB. What does that mean? So it gives a handy overview in Portuguese of the programs, and specifically the diploma program as well. Then we have from the IBO website what it means to be a continuum school, because there are many schools, there are 62 schools in Brazil that offer the IB, but there are only 10 continuum schools. And so that's different. There will be more, of course. St. Nicholas Pinheiros will be one of them as well. But that does set the school slightly apart from others who only offer one or two programs. And then, of course, what is an IB education? This is a PDF. It's quite extensive. That includes many resources and research into the benefits and the outcomes of the IB, and how this is all meticulously planned and prepared in order to ensure the best possible outcomes for all students in an IB World school. Now, as I said at the beginning, I will talk about the events, and then I see there's somebody in the chat. We have a coffee morning in Alphaville. These are Alphaville events. University guidance for parents. So grade 10 parents specifically, because that's when really the hard work begins, starting to think about what they want to do with their life. But that will be open to other parents as well who want to come and ask more questions and learn more. And then early September, as Ms. Tessa confirmed earlier, it's the September 5th that we have the St. Nicholas Alphaville University Fair, and September 2nd in Pinheiros. So if you want to attend both, then we will send communication about that as well. And then we have an open day for prospective parents on October 3rd. Now that's a while from now, but parents are welcome to, prospective parents, to schedule a tour, a visit, excuse me, I'm just gonna cough. Excuse me. So if you're interested and are too impatient to wait until October 3rd, please reach out either to the school website or by calling to schedule a visit to see more and learn more. And so, of course, Ms. Tessa, myself, Mr. Alex, we are at your disposal. Nuno, we would have to hire you. We would love to. But I'm sure that we could get more information from other IB parents. And we see here. Thank you, Nuno. Thank you very much. Another parent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So now we have kept you for quite a while. We appreciate your patience and for sticking with us until the end. This is the Q&A part. We've had some questions throughout. They'll be more than welcome to accept any other ones that may arise here. If you can't think of any now, we encourage you to attend our other events in the school year, because then you can get the opportunity to meet the students, hear what they know and how they feel about the IB. We have the learning exhibition, we have the personal project exhibition, we have all kinds of events that showcase student learning that are open to parents in order for them to learn more about who we are and what we do as a school. So I'm going to give it maybe 30 seconds or so, maybe a minute, to see if anybody's typing in any questions. But at the end of that, if there are no questions at this point, then we look forward to seeing you in school. And we look forward to showing you more about what we do, because one of the best things that we do at school is to invite current and former students to come and talk to our community. We had at our university events, we always have former St. Nicholas students who come, who meet their old teachers from nursery and K1, but also share with parents what their journey has looked like after St. Nicholas and how well prepared they were for what came next. We had students at our latest university event, St. Nicholas alumni, talking about how the first term in economics at a very well-known and prestigious Brazilian university was revision, because they had done all of this in the DP already. And so that goes to show that we're offering a rigorous program that offers excellent preparation for Brazilian universities and abroad, as well as for life in general, because we're raising compassionate, mature, responsible individuals who can make a change and they know how. So I will pause for a second to see if there are any other questions. Following that, we will hopefully wrap up and see you soon. Right. Well, if there are no other questions at this point, then we're very grateful to all of you for being here. We hope this was enlightening. We hope this added to what you know about the IBDP, but not just what you know about the DP, but the way that we do things at St. Nicholas. Because as I said, there are many schools around the world, 5,000 IB schools around the world, who all belong to the network of IB schools, but each school does it differently. And we hope to really stand out as St. Nicholas Pinheiros and St. Nicholas Alphaville with the way in which the PYP and MYP aligns with the school's mission and philosophy of seeing each student, valuing each student, and putting the tools in their hands to decide their own future. So we hope that that's been come through, and we look forward to showing you even more from the students themselves in the events that we've got coming up. So we really encourage you to attend, even if you're a primary parent, early years parent, former parent. Please come to the events and see for yourself where the difference lies between us and other IB schools.
I'd just like to add to thank you everyone for joining us. And if there are any doubts or any questions regarding the diploma program or the process, please don't hesitate to contact the office and set up a meeting. I'll be more than willing to answer any questions or any doubts or for any guidance and support that you might need.
Yes, the same for me as well. If you have any questions regarding universities, studying in different countries, how the application process works, careers for your children, whatever might be related to the area that I work in, please feel free to contact the office as well. I'd be very happy to meet with all of you, any of you, no matter what grade your child's in.
And we speak many different languages between us. So
yes, and I do speak Portuguese. Everyone,
since we're such a close team, most likely that if you ask for a meeting with any three of us, at least two or all three of us will be there. So we really do work as a team to make sure we can offer the best guidance and support and contribute from our experience and our different roles and perspectives. So we're here.
And from my side, if there's any personal questions, I'll be more than happy to try and address them also. And I also speak different languages.
Thank you. You deserve nothing but applause, really, for everything you've done tonight, but also for having raised these poor, beautiful children. So
thank you very much. Thank you.
Right.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
It from us. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Again, thank you. Thank you all for coming. And we will see you in school.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.